Folks, we got a great call lined up for you today, as you well know. Last week was something else. I tell you what, this week, what he talked about, examples. Being a part of the 5 a.m. club. Remember the book he talked about last week? And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to hook up with him this weekend, but nevertheless, here he is live in living color from San Diego, California, the largest organization growing. A great dad, a great leader, great father, a great mentor, and a great man. Without further ado, regional director, the one and only incomparable, Mr. Julian Lewis, out of San Diego, California. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Hope everyone is well. Mr. Thomas, it's great to see your face. And, you know, I'm glad you got to come out here and be reminded why so many people live in San Diego despite the cost of living. It's just, when you're not out here, sometimes you can forget. When you get out here, you're like, damn, I get it. I get it. And I just want to let all of you know that for those of you that get to work with Mr. Thomas, for those of you that are friends with Mr. Thomas, you have the honor to call him a friend. I do know one thing. Familiarity breeds contempt. I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase before, but a lot of us have been blessed to become more familiar with Mr. Thomas on a day-to-day because of these calls. And because of that, sometimes I feel that we start to believe that it's more of a friendship, and we take for granted some of the things that he says to us as friends that could help shift where we're going in our lives. So in this moment, I know Mr. Thomas has done some great things. I know the accolades that come attached to the man, but what I want all of you to think about is how you're hearing what he's saying to you, and maybe reset that today so that you can take what he's saying when he shares information with you and really take it to the next level. So Mr. Thomas, thank you for everything that you do for us. I'm grateful to have you as a mentor, as a friend, and as someone I could come to for advice as a father as well. So thank you, sir. Now, I'm excited about this morning, but I love to shift things. And here's what I want to do. I want to shift things really quick, and I want to go into a video. After the video, I'm going to come back up, and we're going to talk about some pretty incredible things. Is that cool, guys? All right. So I'm going to shift your mindset with a pretty funny video, but you'll see why I'm sharing it when we're done. Give me 1 second, guys. Shift this audio. Make sure this audio is going. There we go.
Skydiving is a really interesting. Skydiving is a really interesting confront with fear. I gotta stand up. I'm sorry, I gotta stand up. You go out the night before and you take a drink with your friends, and somebody says, yeah, we should go skydiving tomorrow. And you go, yeah, we'll go skydiving tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. And you go, yeah. And everybody goes, yeah. And you go home you by yourself, you're like, Right? You're like, well, I mean, they was drunk too. So then that night you're laying in your bed and you just keep, And you're terrified. You keep imagining over and over again jumping out of an airplane, and you can't figure out why you would do that. So you get there, and then you have this safety brief. And you're standing there, and the guys will tell you, well, if the chute doesn't open, what's going to happen is you're doing, well, why the hell, what could happen? So you get onto the airplane, and you're sitting there, and you know, it's extra because you're sitting on some dude's lap, some stranger, trying to make small talk. Yeah, man. So you be jumping with people all the time, huh? So you fly, and you go up to 14,000 feet, and somebody opens the door. And in that moment, you realize you've never been in a freaking airplane with the door open. Terror, 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 terror. And then people start going out of the airplane. And the guy walks you up to the end of the thing, and you're standing, and your toes are on the edge, and you're looking out down to death. They say, on 3. 1, 2, and he pushes you on 2 because people grab on 3. And you fall out of the airplane, and in 1 second, you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying. There's zero fear. You realize that the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. The lesson for me was, why were you scared in your bed the night before? What do you need that fear for? Everything up to the stepping out, there's actually no reason to be scared. And then in that moment, all of a sudden, where you should be terrified is the most blissful experience of your life. And God placed the best things in life on the other side of fear. That was my experience with skydiving and fear.
All right.
All right.
So practically speaking.
But I didn't like that take. I'm going to do it again. Back to the top. I can sell that better. I can sell it better. Oh, no.
All right. Okay. So I'm sure that all of you can understand why I shared that video. Yes, Mr. Culver, absolutely. You know, the reason is it reminded me of the story that I've told before about me being in the pool and the kid not wanting to jump in. And oftentimes what I found is that we're not only afraid, we get so used to the loops, I call them loops, meaning it's like you get caught in a loop. If you've ever seen a loop, a video, it's like, you know, a lot of ladies now, they like to use these quick videos called boomerangs. Have you seen those before? And so it's cycling through the same movements over and over again. So it cycles in and it cycles back, and that's a boomerang. But what I think is a lot of people are stuck in boomerangs in their real life. They're stuck in these loops, and there's these loops that are associated with fear that keep you frozen in it. And when we get frozen in these loops, sometimes we wake up in the loop and realize that we're in it. But everything has become so familiar. Everything's become so, well, I don't have what I want, but I can, I know what's coming next. We get so comfortable with what's familiar that it actually destroys our lives. Because the only point, and you can write this down, the only point at which you start living your life, the only point, and write, instead of your, say my. The only point at which I start living my life is right outside of my comfort zone. Living my life starts outside of my comfort zone. See, and when you understand that, then you'll start to understand why children don't have this fear complex. If you realize, and I've said this before on calls, a call, I think a long time ago, children don't know the difference between fear and excitement. That's why when an adult scares them, they get excited and then they want you to do it again. How many of you have ever seen that with a child before? You scare them, they freak out, and they're like, do it again. They come back up to get frightened again. And as adults, we're like, silly child. They don't get it. But the realization, you have to realize something. It's not the child that's silly, it's us. We don't get it. See, they understand. We're the ones that created some negative thing associated with fear. Children know it in its pure form. They haven't separated the feeling of excitement and the feeling of fear. And when you look at the brain, what you'll notice is the same chemical reaction for excitement as it is fear. So children understand it at its purest form. What we do is we pervert it. So now we're running around in our lives, and what we really are, and I mean no disrespect to anyone on the call, but adults, most adults, and you can write this down, most adults are just deteriorated children. Most adults are deteriorated children. They're children that have problems. I'll say it like that. You know, I remember my mother, and a lot of mothers have shared this before. My mother saying that when I remember being in the 8th grade and not understanding, well, my mother said I didn't understand what love was, like romantic love. How many of you as adults, and be honest, it's okay, we're all family on here. I'm not gonna beat you up, I'm not gonna call you and curse you out. It's okay, right? I promise, I promise. Don't be afraid, this is all about fear, right? Stop it. So how many of you as parents have ever told your children that said that they were in love, that they didn't know what love was? Okay, all right. So I'm gonna, Fetty Sherman, I'm gonna call you and curse you out later because we need to have a talk about that because I saw you raise your hand, okay? No, I'm just playing. So the reason I'm saying this is because my mother said the same thing to me when I was in the 8th grade. And I was in the 8th grade and I had, I'd never had a girlfriend, never kissed anybody, nothing like that. And some of you might be saying, well, you know, that's good, that's early. No, it's not. Kids are kissing all in the 5th grade, 6th grade, all that. But so in the 8th grade, I never had a girlfriend. And there was a girl in my class, and it was in band class. It's a big class. I played the clarinet, she played the flute. I didn't even know who she was. So a girl comes up to me and says, hey, my friend likes you. My friend Dana likes you. And I said, who's Dana? And she said, dummy, she's in our class. I'm like, I don't know who this girl is. It says, she's been in our class this whole time? And she says, yes. And I said, I don't know. She said, all right, fine. Tomorrow, I'm gonna point her out so you know who she is. And I know I'm giving some of you flashbacks, right? So I'm gonna point her out. So I'm nervous as can be. And so I tell my boy, and he's teasing me. He's like, you don't know who she is? She's probably ugly then, ha, ha, ha. And he's laughing, and I'm like, man, don't say that. And so we get to class, and she sits right by her, and she looks at me, she says, Julian, psst. And I look, and she does this, and she says, and I look at her, and I say, oh my gosh, she's really pretty. How did I not know? Well, it's because I'm a boy. I'm not paying attention to stuff like that, right? And so she comes up to me, and she says, so what do you think? And I said, well, she's cute. And so what she does is she get the friend. So the friend's talking to me. She gives me her number, says, hey, call me tonight. Matter of fact, no, give me your number. I'll call you. And I'm like, okay. So she's bossing this whole situation around. And so I give her my number, and she calls me that night on a home phone. You guys remember those things, right? So she calls me. My mom says, hey, Monique's on the phone. She's asking for you. So I pick up the phone and she says, hey, so you said you think Dana's cute, right? And that's her name. I said, yes, I think she's cute. And she said, hold on, I'm gonna get on a three-way call. I'm like, why? Like, why are we doing this? And so she gets on a three-way call and she says, hey, Dana. And Dana says, hi. And she had a soft voice, soft spoken. I remember this like yesterday. And Monique says, I have Julian on the phone. So Dana, I already asked Julian, so I want to ask you again. Dana, do you think Julian's cute? And it was silence. And she said, Dana, you just told me already. He's on the phone. Is he cute? Yes or no? And so Dana's nervous. She says, yes, right? and then Monique says, Julian, so you already told me, do you think Dana's cute? Yes or no? And I said, yes. And she said, all right, that's that. You guys go together now. And I said, what? And she said, you guys go together now. I'll see you guys tomorrow in school. My work is done. And she hung up the phone. I don't even have my new girlfriend's phone number. Do you guys get what I'm saying? I'm nervous. I'm freaking out. That was the longest night of my entire life. I call up my boy Laron, and Eileen, you know who Laron, you've heard me talk about Laron. So I call up my boy Laron, and I say, Laron, what do I do? What do I do? I have a girlfriend. He said, you have a what? He said, since when? I said, I don't know what happened, but I have a girlfriend and I need to know what to do because I'm gonna see her tomorrow. And he said, don't worry, I got you. Now, Laron had several girlfriends meaning 3, okay? You guys get what I'm saying? So he's telling me what to do. He said, all you need to do is you're gonna hold her hand and you're gonna walk her to her classes. That's what you do when you have a girlfriend. All right. And he said, oh, by the way, you're gonna have to kiss her. You've kissed before, right? And I said, of course I've kissed before. He said, no. I can tell, you're my boy. No, I mean real kiss. I said, well, what's the difference between a fake kiss and a real kiss? And he said, you have to French kiss her. And I said, wait, time out. What is that? I was naive. So look, you guys are probably wondering why I'm explaining this, and it sounds crazy, and I know you're enjoying the story and everything. So I get to class, and I'm holding hands with her, and then I hug her when she goes to her class, and I'm like, man, I like having a girlfriend. This is the best feeling in the world, right? So this is awesome. Weeks go by. I've actually kissed her, but I did the fake kiss, not the kiss that Laron was telling me about, right? Weeks go by, my boys are teasing me. Laron's like, yo, man, I see you before class. You haven't even kissed her yet. And I said, I kissed her. And he said, bro, and he stuck out his tongue. I said, man, stop it. I don't have to do that. And I'm scared. And then Monique, the same mean friend that put us together, said, why haven't you kissed Dana yet, right? All of this fear. And I finally got the courage to give her a real kiss. And all I could tell you was, I think my soul left my body. Do you understand? I was blown away to the point where it was nothing but real kisses from that day forward. Do you understand? And I'm telling you this because we got in trouble for public display of affection. I thought my mom was gonna kill me. And my mom, she said, why are you doing this? And I said, Mom, I love her. She said, boy, you don't know what love is. You don't know what love is. Now I'm telling you the story for a few reasons. First reason, what was on the other side of fear was pure bliss. And I realized I was afraid for nothing, okay? Second thing, young people do know what real love is. I had that same girlfriend from 8th grade with pure love come out to visit me when I was 19 years old. She wound up flying out of the country, or not of the country, of the state. And she came back from Florida to visit. I didn't know why she came back. I realized that she came back because later on, Monique, the same girl that put us together, that did all of this, Monique told me the reason why she came back. I thought she was just coming back to visit. She came back to see me. She said Monique, but she hung out with me for a day. And it was fun. It wasn't, we weren't doing it to get back together or anything. She just wanted to see me and talk to me. I found out that when she flew back to where she was living at the time, she wound up calling off an engagement. She called off an engagement. And I found out is that when she came to visit me, when she went back, she realized that she wasn't in love with this man, because she realized the love she had in 8th grade was real. And she was able to see the difference. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So 2 things. Number 1, stop telling your kids they don't know what real love is, because you're afraid, because you've been hurt before. Number 2, stop living your life in fear, because pure bliss is right on the other side of fear. Whatever you're afraid, you're tormenting yourself. Listen, do you hear me? You're tormenting yourself. The back and forth that you do in your mind every single day about the simple things you're worried about. There's nothing to be worried about. There's nothing to be worried about. You know, if you jump and it's a bad experience, can we agree that at least you know it's an experience you don't like? But if you don't jump and you miss out on the experience, that could have been an experience that altered your perspective and set you on a blazing trail to the future that you are intended to have. And you'll never know, because you're sitting in purgatory. I know some of you might be like, why did you use that word? It's the perfect word. It's hell, but not really, right? And that's what you create in your mind, this state of stasis where it doesn't exist. You're either growing or dying. So when you're not jumping and you're in your mind about things, it's not that you're not doing anything. The truth is you're dying. You're dying slowly, but you're dying slowly in a negative feeling of fear. Ladies and gentlemen, that's hell. All the what ifs that you create in your mind create your reality. And when you're at the end of your life, you're gonna look back and realize that you never did anything in your life because you were living in a constant loop of hell that you created of negative what if scenarios that have nothing to do with the truth. I hope some of you caught what I just said, because the what ifs are killing you. The what ifs are killing your family members. The what ifs are allowing you. Here's what happens. You create these negative scenarios and these negative versions of people in your mind. And they're like the wardens that keep you from doing big things in your life. They keep you from doing little things like trying new foods. They keep you from doing everything that is living. And the wisdom of a child is to know that they're here to experience everything. Those of you that have babies know it. Because the moment our child can crawl, what are they doing? They're going to experience everything. They're putting things in their mouth that they shouldn't. They're touching everything. They're doing everything they can because children know in wisdom that's what life is for. Remember what I said, adults are just deteriorated children. We forget. And next time you look at your kids or your grandkids and you minimize their lives, I need you to realize something. They are more wise. We look at children the same way Americans in this country look at immigrants that speak a different language. Can we agree that a lot of people look at others that speak a different language that are trying to speak ours as less intelligent? Even though they're more intelligent because they can speak their language as well as they're learning how to speak ours. You guys are all agreeing, but here's the news flash for you. That's how most adults look at their children. Because they are new here, they don't know, even though they are wise beyond the ability to speak. So my recommendation to all of you, as I share with you a story from my childhood and the video from Will Smith, and we talk about fear and we talk about what's on the other side of it, is to become a child again. Be childlike. Let go of all the nonsense that you've started to believe and become delusional in your adult life. All the things that we argue about nowadays, and I'm talking about people that are 21 to people that are older. Listen, if you're watching the news and you're angry at the Democrats, or you're angry at the Republicans, or you're angry at Biden, or you're angry at Trump, or you're angry at Newsom because California's been closed too long, or you're angry, man, snap out of it. You're in a delusion. You're in a delusion. And none of those things you can control anyway. So why are you constantly talking about who's getting a vaccine or who isn't, or who's wearing a mask or who isn't, or why they should or why they shouldn't? My advice to you is to let go of the construct that you've been given. No, don't be childish. That's what most adults are. I want to clarify. Don't be childish. That's what most adults become. You want to be like, childlike. There's a difference. There's a difference. And if you can go back, then you'll find friends that you're a childish adult version of you would never have, because you're afraid because they look different than you. You'll find beauty in things that as an adult you were taught to believe is not beautiful. You'll find love when as an adult you believed that you were unlovable or you've been hurt too much to find love again. You'll find all the things you've been looking for when you go inward and stop being afraid of the fake things that we've created that become our prisons and don't allow us to live. My wish for all of you is you start living. Some of you, I almost said to start living again, but I believe some of you may never have actually lived. And we're not promised tomorrow. So why not live today? Why not let go of the fear of talking to people or the expectation you have when you talk to them? And why not just start talking to people and let the ones that like what you say decide to be your friend or your ACN IBO? We get so caught up in the language. Language is clumsy at best. All language is a clumsy attempt to describe the chemical reactions that are going on within our minds. Language is an attempt to describe the chemical reactions that are happening in our minds. So don't worry about the language, because the language will never quite be as strong as the energy, the connection. So if you're coming from a space of fear, listen to me carefully. You will not attract love, and you will not attract business partners. But if you come from a place of love, even in clumsy words, you can attract love, friends, business partners, customers. There are people that I know that are so goofy, and it's difficult for them to explain their feelings through words, but because they come from a place of love, you fall in love with them. Do you know who those people are? Babies. Did you catch that? And those of you that have fur babies, like my friend, Miss Natasha Ismail, know that fur babies can't talk at all. But you know what we can feel? Their love. What I'm trying to say is most of you that are afraid to move forward in ACN are getting stuck on the words. And that's fear keeping you back. But if you came from a place of love and you realize that people that say no, it's just timing, and they're not saying no to you because you're enough for somebody, you're going to find your tribe. So let go. If you hear, if someone, a leader on here says something like an approach that resonates with you, try it. But it's not the end all perfect approach for everyone. Come from love, and even if you say it wrong, you'll find the right people. But you gotta let go of fear in order to accept love to begin with. So look, I know today was a little different, and I wanted to make sure I got that out, got that off my chest, because I would love, love, love to see all of you in love. And what I mean in love, moving in love, so that you can attract what you deserve. Because love is just a way that people describe energy, which is the way that people describe the spirit. And I'm going to tell you why. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Is this true? Love transcends time and space and can neither be created nor destroyed. And your spirit is immortal. So all those things are the same. And when you tap in and you realize that, then life becomes amazing. And you'll be able to have fun in ACN because you've changed from the core. So with that, guys, I'm done. I appreciate you all popping in on here with me today to experience this journey, jumping out of the plane, letting go of fear, and now moving into love. And with that, do not forget, love on people enough to get them registered for the event. The 19th is our team event, and the 20th is the Game On event, and will completely change your entire ACN career, especially if you're moving into it from a space of love and not fear. So that's my prayer to all of you. Mr. Thomas, with that, I'll turn the call over to you, sir.